Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition here of Survivor Fantasy Talk. Dan Bach, Mr. Tuttle, and good to have Chopper back. Tony is not here today. He said he's out on the golf course or something like that. I mean, honestly, I am not surprised that he didn't show up here because this is the same guy who literally was up $200 in bets between me and Tuttle before Survivor even started, and still somehow ended up losing money at the end of the show. So, he's not with us today. Tuttle, welcome. Chop, I need to just preface this. I've heard you say about like 5-6 words before the show starts. Dude, are you okay? Because your voice sounds a little bit raspy. I want to make sure that that you're on the up and up here on the medical front, Chop.
Hell, I don't know. I'm getting older, so things are really breaking down a lot more than they used to. I have no idea if I'm okay or not. I mean, I've had it honestly, like for like a week straight. I've had this really weird sore throat kind of thing that wants to become a sore throat, but it's not getting there quite. But it's lurking and lurking, and I don't know, man. I think I'm chalking it up to the allergies in San Antonio, but I might have some Rona. I don't know. I haven't gone out though. The only thing I've done is get groceries from the pickup, curbside pickup and stuff. I have no idea how I would get it, but who knows, man? Who knows these days?
Tuttle, how are you feeling, man? You sounded good in the pre-show. And by the way, I like that you're sporting the limited edition Rotogrinders shirts.
That's right. 10 years. Yeah, I actually think I think Chop sounds sultry. I'm liking it. But yeah, I'm doing well. I'm sad BigT can't join us. We'll gladly take his money though tonight.
Yeah, I'm pretty sad he's not here also, because I have just a few questions about that challenge team last week. I thought was a little bit peculiar. He made.
Yeah, and Tuttle and I are not in the money leagues for the challenge. We're just this is my first year watching it. I'm enjoying it. I know the spoilers are probably crystal clear and out there. Feel pretty good about Survivor spoilers in terms of what we seem to find every week, but you can still kind of build a team accordingly that is not, especially since they've gone to singles or not teams, that you can differentiate a little bit. So we're going to get into all that stuff here this week. Couple of housekeeping things. First off, Thursday night, make sure you join us. We're going to have poker. Once again, they've got their biggest tournament coming up on Sunday over at Global Poker. It's 500,000 SCs in this tournament. So biggest one they've ever run. 500,000 SCs. That's a lot. So we've got a satellite tournament, $10 entry, I think, or $11 entry, $10 rebuy. Might be backwards or forwards, either one of those. But either way, not a lot to get in. And we're going to give away, I think it's 70 total tickets to that tournament, and it's a 570 SC buy-in for that on Sunday. So it's a big satellite tournament. Definitely going to be firing at it. Got some bounties out there as well. So be on the lookout for that. Thursday night at 8:30, we're going to have a kind of draft live show, betting show going on as well during that. So we'll be able to watch the draft, sweat the draft, and play some poker. So that's going to be coming on Thursday. And also, remember, we did kind of new little agreement as well with sportscardinvestor.com. You've probably seen some of that content on the site, and interesting how we've kind of have a resurgence here in sports card collecting. I guarantee you that both of you guys, like me, funneled way too much money into sports cards into the 90s. Is that correct?
I was definitely into some sports cards in the 90s for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. I remember my prize card at the time was a Michael Vick X-Fractor rookie card signed. It was like 1 in 150. I was so excited about it. Thought it was going to be my ticket to a few grand or so. Never got there.
Man, Tuttle just showing his age there, Chop. Michael Vick rookie cards, like you and I were like Don Mattingly, Kirby Puckett, Mark McGuire maybe, and then he's throwing Michael Vick rookies out there. My God, I forgot how I mean, like we call Overzet, fake young. I think you're fake old. Like, that's what I think. Like, I think you should be way older than you really are.
The kids add, at least a couple years each. So I'm pretty much 40 by now.
Tuttle's, this is a little known fact. Tuttle's 24 years old.
No.
Tuttle's 24. He's like Amari Cooper. Like, they just don't age.
He's Amari Cooper. I like it. But we started this new relationship, sportscardinvestor.com. We got some videos up there, and it's actually really an interesting kind of world that it's turned into, where cards go up and down and trying to find those trends, and Jeff, the guy behind it, has done an amazing job with that site. So again, 20% off your first payment for all the plans using that promo code Grinders on it. But check out the content, and if you're the least bit into sports cards or want to try to get into it, definitely we're doing something new and trying that out. Obviously, got to get innovative in this world that we live in. All right, let's get into some Survivor here. Last week, I am proud to say that I had my first winning week. I swept the board. It was tight, though. And I got to give kudos to Tuttle for not really having sour grapes, because there was a whole lot of random crying points that were doled out by FanDuel.
Dude, yeah. They just really dished it out.
It just did not make any sense whatsoever.
It was bull crap. It was anytime they panned over, right? Is basically what it was.
I don't know. I didn't bother because my name was at the top of the leaderboard, so I was not complaining and wanting to find an excuse on why I lost this week. So that's something you can explain. But it seemed like there was just randomly more crying points given out last week.
I do think it was basically once they were on camera. So let's say you start crying now, DB. Camera gets you, pans away, comes back. They gave 2 points for that. Double points.
Double cry.
I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
Wow. And Tony was the guy that I think you wanted in the captain spot last week, if I remember.
Yeah, but that's who I had.
That's who you had in the captain spot.
Yeah, but you had Tony. You had, I forget who else
Sarah,
you had.
I had Kim. I had Nick.
Yes, I think Kim ended up being the differentiator, maybe.
Yeah. Since
she played her idol at the. And then the thing that brought you ahead was I got 2 Sophie votes on me at the end.
I mean, it was tight. I mean, it was a good sweat last week, but I ended up winning all the money, so I'm not complaining. But I do need to laugh at our boy Big T, who is not here again today, because he should have had the winning team last week, but especially in our head-to-head. But the donkey played Boston Rob last week from Extinction on his lineup, which literally made no sense whatsoever in my estimation. And clearly I lost the bet. Extinction got to see their families. I lost $100 on that. But I feel a little bit redeemed, because I think that the fact that he won that bet really made him want to just like go for the crying points there on Edge of Extinction. But luckily, they didn't really give that nearly as much coverage as they did the one on the island.
So you know what's actually crazy?
Okay.
The best lineup on the site in that free roll had Natalie in it.
Really? Okay. Did she cry more than Boston Rob? I'll take it.
They gave her 3 cries and 1 confessional.
And Boston Rob had 0 cries and 1 confessional, I believe.
Yeah. So Natalie was in the top lineup of this on the site last week.
Imagine taking somebody from Extinction and not going with his wife, because she's an auto cry, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And he took Boston Rob. Just total donkey play by Big T. Donkey. So last week we had Tyson voted out. I want to talk a little bit about last week's episode here, Tuttle. Chopper, what did you guys think of that? What did you think of the tribal? Do you like it when people are whispering in each other's ears and doing that kind of stuff? Because that was a complete and utter mess last week.
I mean, I think it makes for good television, and I think that when you get to that point, I get it. I understand it. Like, all bets are off. You're really nervous. You don't Like, it's easy for us to look at it from the TV and say, well, we know the target is on X player, or if it flips, it's going to be on this player. But they don't know that. They have no idea usually. So I understand there's a lot of paranoia going on there. I get it. But yeah, if you had a real true leader there, they would probably squash all that before you even get into tribal. So maybe that just shows there's no real true alpha there leading any of these people.
I don't like it, Tuttle. What do you think? I mean, I think it's
overplayed. It's overplayed at this. Like, it used to bring. I think it used to bring excitement because they used to crack down on it a lot more. Or not sure if they cracked down, but it just wasn't a thing until like 2 seasons ago or whatever. And now it's every single tribal council. And the other point that I've heard about it actually is like why they're all mic'd up.
Yeah.
So why not let us in on some of these conversations? You know, change it up a little bit. Let us hear what they're whispering in their little group of 5 or whatever.
Well, that was the most interesting thing about that tribal last week is when Sophie came out and said, "Okay, us 5, let's go together and make and decide who's going home." That was a ballsy move, but it's also like if you're one of those other 3 people or 4 people, whatever it was, who are sitting there, how do you not just walk over and be like, "Okay, man, like what's going on?" Like there's no gatekeeper to keep somebody away. Like it's not like Ben was going to be the muscle and be like, no, you can't go in our group. The set is only so big. And the fact that they knew one of them were going home and they basically just sat there and took their medicine was ridiculous. Like, hey, you one of you are going home. Why don't you walk over there and find out and make sure it's not yourself? Because whomever it was, whoever did that wasn't going to be the one getting the votes.
Well, she almost flipped everything upside down with her Kim, with her immunity. If she would have just given it to Tyson, we could have been a whole different storyline here. But
didn't they screw up the votes anyway?
What's that?
Didn't they screw up the votes anyway? Like, why would they go 5-2 in that situation?
No, they had. So Michelle actually was voting with the group that split up is what happened. So I don't know. I think we'll get some insight on that tonight because I think Michelle is the double agent that they refer to in the preview. So there's a preview and there's like a description for the preview. And it's like Tony's up to his old ways, trying to find idols, running around camp. And then there's a double agent that we'll hear from, blah, blah, blah. I think Michelle's that double agent. So they actually, instead of 5, they actually had 6 votes to work with. And I think they ended up going 4-2 on it. I'm not exactly sure. I have to see if I can find the voting list from last week. But I think that's what happened. So they did have an extra one to work with. And then they stole a vote too, right?
They did. They stole Denise's vote, yeah. So, because Sarah got to vote twice. That's what happened. So did you know going into last week that was the last week that Jeremy and could use his idol?
I didn't
know that either. That bit of information would have been useful probably. But a lot of stuff was played last week. He used an idol or his advantage. Kim used an idol and Sarah used an idol. So. And Tony got 2 extra fire tokens, I think, when he won the challenge last week as well. So
yes, I do have a fire token list too, if we want to go over that real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have Ben at 1, Denise at 3, Jeremy at 2, Kim at 2, Michelle at 0, Nick at 3, Sarah at 1, Sophie at 2, and Tony at 3.
All right.
By the way, that's something else that I thought could have swung my way in terms of FanDuel's subjectivity and scoring could that have been counted as Tony winning 2 rewards at the immunity?
I mean, if they gave it the previous week, then you've got because they did give one last week to the person who won immunity. So,
right, they gave that, but because they've only been dishing out 1 fire token typically, and so
you think he deserved double?
I'm just saying, should he have?
Man, Tuttle, I was giving you a lot of credit for not having sour grapes. And now
I don't have sour grapes, but I think that's reasonable, right?
You're questioning my victory last week, and it's kind of disappointing.
I mean, you only did edge me by like 0.5.
It was close. I was,
and that actually swung some decent money too.
It did. It did. I was waiting for the scoring changes just to screw me, but it didn't happen. So that's kind of what happened last week, and now it's a pretty clear 5 versus 4. And like you said, Michelle might be the one that's playing both sides, but you also, if you watch some of the preview stuff that's on YouTube, Tony is also kind of, at one point in time, I think it's Michelle says, Tony's trying to be a double agent or whatever. So I don't know. I mean, this feels like a very Tony-centric episode from some of the previews that I've seen.
Yeah, I agree. So make sure you don't put him in your captain slot so that I can take all your money.
Oh, wow. He's playing coy here. Do you have the who's getting voted out spoiler?
It's not a specific person anymore. Do you guys want to hear there's a trio that the speculation is around?
Can I give you, before you even say it, I haven't looked
at
it.
Let me hear the guesses.
I think Kim's gone this week.
Okay. She's one of the potential ones.
Okay. Sophie?
She's number 2.
Really?
Okay. Huh. And I don't think it's Nick because he's the cheapest on FanDuel this week.
He's kind of flying under the radar, really. Him and Michelle both are.
Jeremy's got to be on the list, right?
Yeah. Yep, it's those 3. But then the problem is though, I think the optimal lineup is going to be if one of those 3 gets voted off. Like if Kim gets voted off, who's she going to give her fire tokens to?
How many does she have?
She had, let me go back. She had 2, I believe. Yeah, she's got 2.
Okay.
She's the person I couldn't peg down, but if she's going to give her fire tokens to like Sarah. Sophie or Jeremy, then they're risky because what if they get voted off?
Yeah. Maybe it isn't Sarah because she's kind of on the other side there. So
yeah, I don't think it would be Sarah.
Denise, probably, maybe.
I actually asked my wife for her input. She said maybe Jeremy or Denise.
So you feel pretty good about Kim getting voted out?
No, I don't. I've tried. So I know those 3 are
okay.
The potential. So I like to figure out, who each one would give their fire tokens to. So Jeremy, I think Denise is probably the favorite. So if we think Kim, we think Denise might be the favorite there too. And then Sophie, I put Sarah down is who she would give the fire tokens to.
So I was listening to a Survivor podcast this week. Yeah, I'm a dork.
You're starting to put the research time in now too.
A little bit. And they made reference to there being like a new type of power, or like the game is going to change forever for some sort of thing that's going to happen in this episode. Like that's what Probst said. That's what Probst told some news outlet. Like this
change forever.
Well, I don't want to change forever, but there's going to be like something brought to the game that we've never seen before. So I have no idea what that is. But that's again a little bit of a tea that I kind of heard. So take it for what it's worth.
So it's got to be something that's not in the game yet.
Probably. I think it's got to be something related to fire tokens. And here's kind of the way that I'm looking at it is I feel like Tony is going to win immunity this week.
Again?
I feel like he's going I'm just let me just give you my hypothesis here. The dude sucks at challenges. I get it. But I feel like he's going to win immunity this week. He's going to get more fire tokens. So he's got 3, maybe he gets 2 more. He'll have 5 fire tokens. Because here's the thing you got to remember. This is the guy who's like all the odds are saying is going to win. Now, clearly nobody really knows outside of the people who counted those votes ahead of time, but that's what the predictions say. It's going to be Tony. So I think he gets something in his arsenal, and I think he gets it via fire tokens. And plus we know there's more idols to be found with all these ones that were recently played. So I think I think you're not playing Tony is a big mistake this week, because I think he's gonna, because you're seeing him like run around and like be all crazy. He wouldn't be doing that if his name was out there. Like, I just feel like he's got to have protection this week. He knows it, and that's why he can go and act like a moron, because apparently he's even said it, like, it's time to start playing my game, rather than this quiet, laid back game. So Tony's my guy this week. He's my captain there for you, Tuttle.
I mean, I think he's going to be the most common captain.
The problem is he's the most expensive, though, and that means I'm going to have to play one of these donkeys on Extinction.
The thing, the only problem I have is, I think he's just super safe already. Like, I don't think, even if when he doesn't win immunity, he's not going home. He's just super safe. So he's kind of, then I just think, what's his odds of winning immunity twice in a row when he's been pretty bad his whole Survivor career at challenges anyway? Man, I think you got to have that immunity winner. We don't know about reward yet. If there's going to be a
that's
reward.
True.
So
they nixed it last time, so that's going to be important.
So, I mean, your captain has to be somebody who takes immunity or reward wins and all that stuff. I don't know if I like his odds of doing that. I think he's super safe to get the advance points, the 5 points, and he's not in trouble. But I don't know if he's my challenge winner, my breadwinner.
They do make it seem like he finds an advantage or an idol. He's going to get the airtime too. So that's the only thing. Because if you think he's going to find an advantage or an idol, which I think he is, I don't have any spoilers on that, but just the way they're previewing it, it seems like that's the case. Then his floor is just, he's got the floor there. So if he does then backdoor into like a rewards challenge, rewards win, or an immunity win, then he's the top scorer right there.
Yeah. But it's a situation, though, where I think it's like you can't play him in the captain and not have someone from Extinction. Is that accurate?
You can.
Yeah, you can. You can play pretty much in. Like, you just can't play like Tony.
Okay, yeah. I guess you're right. You can. I mean, playing somebody from Extinction is just ridiculously dumb. Right.
Unless you know something like there's going to be a challenge over there to get back in the game, which I wouldn't know. Tuttle would probably know better than anybody else if that was happening.
It's going to happen, but not this episode.
Okay.
Yeah, no. Tuttle already knows who's coming back the second time, right?
Yeah.
Son of a Tuttle. This is why it's tough to play with you, man.
Here's
we've been
the
on
thing.
This thing for like 5 weeks, and every single week he drops nuggets that I have no idea is going to happen, and they happen, and he just knows they're going to happen.
Here's the thing. It's a pretty obvious. Like, the two most likely people to return from Edge are the people that have returned in Tyson and are going to return.
I mean, that's a terrible clue.
Yeah, I mean, it narrows it down to 2 people for me.
Yeah, 2 people. Natalie or Boston Rob are probably the only 2 you would think of that have a chance to get back, and it's one of those 2.
Well, way to leave us in suspense. We'll know when that episode's coming.
Yeah, I'll drop the knowledge when the episode comes.
Yeah, but don't be like Tony and play those guys from Edge. Doesn't make any sense. And when I say Tony, Big T, don't be like
Big T. You do want to play Tony tonight.
I think you want to definitely play Tony this week. So predictions on who goes home here.
I'm for sure.
You're Kim, right?
I'm Kim going home this week. She's been a really good challenge performer. She played up all her idols last week. I don't think she has any advantages left. And they realize that's the threat, and I think she's gone.
Sophie's interesting, but she's got an idol herself still. So it would have to be a total blindside to get her out of the game. And I think Sarah's the only one that knows she has it. I mean, I'm not 100% sure on that, but I feel like she's the only one who knows. And I think that would be the reason to kind of blindside her, is because she's got the idol. And I just don't know if Sarah's in that mindset to be blindsiding her allies. So, man, I mean, Jeremy seems like too easy, though. Just seems too easy. Like,
Yeah, he's the one. Do you think they're mad at him for leaving?
No, I don't think his group is mad at him because it was the last time he could play. The whole goal is to get to the next. Even if he was there,
Do they know that though?
what do you mean? He
Do
can
they
tell
know
them.
that? What he should? He
Yeah.
100% should.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he did because remember when he told Tyson that he had this idol, and then Tyson's like, well, like we could really use your vote, and if you don't show up, then we won't have your vote. But you gotta think he told him then,
Right.
This is the last time I can play it, and here's why I'm considering playing it. But, but no, I think the advantages are really gonna. I mean, Nick at $19 feels like a lock. Tony feels like a lock. I'm not gonna give you my entire lineup, but those two feel like people you should be playing. I think I'll say Sophie goes. I think Sophie on a blind side.
It'd be more fun that way.
It would be. It would be. Because Tony, the thing about Tony is, I can almost see him switching over to the other side. Doesn't it kind of make sense?
See, that's the thing, though. That's what I'm trying to wrap my head around, though. If Tony does swap, like he's not going to do anything without Sarah, right?
Why not?
They're cop star us and all that.
They voted each other out before, and Sarah, every time she comes on one of those confessionals, she's like, Tony's, his game and my game are totally different. Like he's kind of out there. So, I mean, for me, Michelle playing double agent doesn't do much because they're in the minority right now. So what does it matter? Like her vote doesn't swing anything. They would need somebody from the other side, from the Tony, Ben, Sophie, Sarah alliance and Nick to join with Jeremy, Denise, Michelle, and Kim. So they just need one person to flip.
I do think Nick can go either way for sure. I don't think has any strong allegiance to either side.
He went from like literally being the guy who's going to be voted out to like not even being considered.
I almost think he was just like when Sophie said, "Hey, you five, come over here." He just was like, "All right, I'm going." Like I think that was kind of like I don't think he has strong allegiance with anybody on that side.
All right. Anything else for us to consider here on this episode tonight?
I'm not gonna lie, it's starting to get a little bit boring just because they even decreased the roster size, which I think they kind of had to do. Otherwise, everybody would just be running out the same lineup.
Oh, you're right. It's only 4 this week.
Yeah, it's only 4 this week. But the smaller we get, I mean, Big T's going to make us gamble on it every week anyway. But the smaller we get with the lineup sizes, I think it's a little bit less interesting to play.
Maybe they should like switch it up where you have to take somebody from Extinction each week.
Yeah.
Something along those lines. Like,
or at least price it that way.
Yeah, you're right. Because it's going to be, you're right, only 4 roster spots now? Is that right?
Yep.
And it's going to be like crazy overlap on this. Like nobody's getting an individual winner this go around. Unless somebody like catches a ton of fish on Extinction or something.
Yeah. Or wins a challenge and then cries about it. And then they show him in confessional and they get like 5 cries rewarded because it just keeps panning back and forth.
All right, Chop, I want to get to the challenge because you and Tony are the one who are going at it weekly in this in a head-to-head. What exactly took place last week in said head-to-head? Because we received some text messages that seemed like you feel like there's, I don't know, some spoilers or something going on?
I don't know. Big T's had a pretty rough run here on the reality shows in recent weeks, and maybe things kind of got to him, and maybe he peeked out some spoilers. I wish he was here to defend himself, but boy, I looked at that team. I opened up that team after the episode because I don't like to look at it during the episode. I opened up the team, and I saw Big T at the top of the leaderboard, and I started looking at the lineup, and I'm like, whoa. That's damn near the nuts. And then I started looking deeper and I realized, wow, some of these guys, how did he get on these players? And then I even did a little bit more research and realized he left $11 on the table. $11 in this game gets you from a bad player to a great player. Like it gets you from bottom tier to like top of the top charts, man. It's like going from a $5,000 player to LeBron James. That's what $11. So it makes it a little bit. I don't know. I wish he was here to give me his what his mindset was, but he had the nuts, man. He rostered the entire tribunal, which is a big thing.
Oh, geez.
I don't know
who was the tribunal last week?
It was Swaggy.
CT, Swaggy C, and I get that, and Bailey.
Yeah, how do you end up on Bailey?
How do you get on Bailey and leave $11 on the table? That could have been Jordan or Rogan, or when you did Bailey. And then, of course, he had Jay. I get Jay because I had Jay too, but we knew he was going in. CT and the captain, that was a big one, man. That was a big one. He won the challenge, and he hadn't really done very much up to this point. That was a little bit shifty right there. I don't know.
CT got booted, man.
Yeah, but he won. He racked up so many points by winning the challenge.
Yeah, he won the first challenge, then is in the tribunal, and
yeah.
So it doesn't even matter if you get voted out as long as you're winning those other things.
Yeah.
So you get the tribunal.
I don't know, man.
Wait, you actually get points for getting a vote casted against for elimination?
No, there's no. You just get eliminated. There's no voting system. So you just get eliminated.
Yeah, why do they have that on there? I'm on the scoring right now. I don't get that.
Eliminated. -3 for getting eliminated.
What the world?
But if you're in the tribunal, you get points. If you win the challenge, you get even more points.
Yeah, -2 is all it is for your
elimination. And then, obviously when you're in the challenge, when you win the challenge and you're in the elimination, obviously you're getting the airtime. So 9 confessional. The point being, it was CT was not really on people's radars, I don't think, if you're just watching the show. But he put him in the captain. That's big time. Along with all the other factors, I sure wish Big T was here to defend himself.
Oh, man.
The one that gets me is having Bailey on your roster, and that could have been Corey, Jordan, Rogan.
And that goes against what he told me, because I haven't played yet, but he called me up and was like, yo, what do you think the optimal strategy is? And we talked about it a little bit, and we kind of settled on, if you know it's a guy's elimination, just stack guys. If you know it's girls' elimination, just stack girls. Because then you get to try, oftentimes on a girls' tribunal, you get 2. Yeah. So, yeah, the Bailey in there really throws things, because he, like you said, he could have got another guy in there instead.
Well, how about the episode itself? What were we putting the odds on Jay beating CT in that challenge before it started?
For me, I if those two were going heads up, I would have given Jay pretty good odds.
Really?
Just because, CT is really not the same guy he was 10 years ago. Like, you could just see he's just older and way out of shape. It just wasn't – this guy's young and what is he, a rock climber and all this stuff. Like, I would have given heads up. I would have given Jay pretty good odds to beat CT. I just can't believe CT manipulated himself into that. But I guess you got to go into elimination and get your red skull. So I get it. So
that doesn't bother me that he did it. I just thought I just don't think he did a particularly good job in doing the challenge, which, and I don't think Jay did a very good job either. Like, when I was looking at the way, because basically you had to just kind of not allow the person get in the bunker, and they had all sorts of different stuff for people.
I think CT had the right strategy.
I agree, but he didn't execute it all.
Well, something happened there at the end. I think he really lost a lot of steam. The fatigue set in, and he really slowed. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you see Jay just burst through the door, and CT. Unless it was really good editing, which it is a lot of times, but it looked like it was a neck and neck finish, and his CT was just kind of too lackadaisical at the end, but. The strategy was there. Just, man, the youth, man.
Well, you didn't tie any knots or anything. Again, you're right. I'm in the editing, but the way that looked at the very end was like none of those chains were really tied up. They all just kind of came loose, and then the door opened. It was crazy.
Maybe.
But I don't know. So Jay wins, and we don't have to worry about it this episode because it's probably going to be a girls' elimination.
Yeah.
But they're just going to keep pounding him in the elimination, right?
Yeah.
There should be
there's no reason not to.
Yeah, it's every incentive because now he's the only one that can go to the final.
Not only that, but like we're going to start to get really in the next few weeks. You're going to start to see like, man, these guys are all going to have to start going against each other in the eliminations, and it's going to be nothing but studs like Rogan and Fessy and Corey and Jordan. Like you're going to have to take out some studs to get your Red Skull. So yeah, right now Jay's definitely, as long as Jay's at this game, he's going into the elimination because he's the easiest target by far.
And Johnny Bananas, by the way, why is everybody afraid of this guy? Like he just bullied the living daylights out of all these people in that in that nomination or whatever it was. It was like he was the one who was talking and nobody was afraid to look him in the eye and say his name. I'm only in year 1 watching this, but I can't fathom people being that afraid to cast a vote for a guy. And because I thought for sure he was going to be put in for a while, especially when they're like, all the girls are voting, are not going to vote for Jay. And the next thing you know, like half of them vote for Jay. And it was simply because Johnny Bananas stood there and gave everybody the evil eye. And like, what am I missing with this guy?
The editing, man, they just edited it down to really make it. But I think the swing vote there was Wes. If Wes stabs him in the back and votes him in, I think he goes in. So I think Wes saved his ass.
Kind of wish that would have happened, right?
Oh,
Just for the
tension
sake.
between the two, man. Yeah.
Oh, they're bros though, man. Now
Yeah,
they're loving each other, drinking beers and everything.
They got
at the
listen.
club.
I'll give them credit. They put the personal thing behind them because this is the optimal strategy for them. Is for those two guys to team up on their own. They're not winning this thing, but together, I would imagine there's some kind of a deal there where, hey man, you win that $1 million and we'll, give me 20%. Together, working together,
Sure.
They can get one of them into the final, and then all bets are off. You never know what's going to happen in a final with somebody like that running.
So we've seen what the men do, and they basically just start throwing Jay back in because he's got a red skull. And it makes sense to do that. And because as soon as one of those people are eliminated, that's just one less person who can get to the final. But I think it's pretty safe to say the women are not going to do that because Jenny is just going to wipe the floor with whomever they put in there.
Yep.
So I love the strategy, but I just think she's too strong of a competitor to do it. So thoughts on who it is this week? I mean, Big T didn't show up to do our show here, but maybe this is the week Big T kind of gets the heave ho because she feels not like the strongest by any measure.
Very true. You gotta look down there in that bottom range of the girls who are
they'll throw her in. They have to. And she's even out here doing the newbie thing of, hey, I want to prove myself type of thing. So she's going in.
Who are the other rookies on the girls' side?
I don't think it matters. I think it's going to be, if Big T goes in, it's going to be all the veterans that want to go in and get their stripes.
Yeah, from what I could gather, the previous girls' elimination, it looked like Tori, who's a very strong competitor, was chomping at the bits to get in there against a weak competitor and get her red skull. She's got some pull. So I would imagine if I was going to bet on it, I would bet she manipulates her way into there somehow against if there's a weaker competitor like a Big T or somebody.
Yep.
So
weak competitor
so great. I hope she doesn't get eliminated just so I can send the screenshot every single week of Big T on screen, the challenge Big T, and just send it to Tony. It's my favorite thing to do every week. So Tori seems like an option. Ashley I think she was the one that got a ton of screen time last week.
Yeah. Wasn't
she the one that was like going at it with Bananas again? And being
she's so annoying.
Yeah.
The thing is, she might try to work her way in because she knows she has no other chance against anybody else, basically.
Very true.
See, I think Bailey's the worst. I can't stand her.
Oh, I don't. Did you watch their Big Brother season?
No.
Just brutal.
She's not good. Not good athlete.
She's actually seems fairly athletic. They didn't do too many athletic contests that I remember on Big Brother, but they're just Her and Swaggy are just annoying.
It's
over the top.
obnoxious.
You saw the Anissa
oh yeah. Totally
interview.
buried them. Totally buried them for having a blanket with pictures of themselves, which was just amazing.
Yeah, they're just way over the top is essentially what it is. I haven't followed up to see if they kept going at Pat Mayo or not either. That was so good. Did you see that, Chop? You were gone last.
I did see that in that original tweet from Swaggy C. Yeah,
so good.
Well, that's the challenge. That will be again tonight. So, are you comfortable to roll back another head-to-head versus our very own Big T here, Chop? You comfortable with this?
No.
Are you gonna do it anyway?
Just do it. Tory Captain's got to be the winner.
I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to think about what I'm going to participate in with Big T tonight. I'm a little bit suspicious, man. I'm really gonna have to think about it.
Just hope he's getting drunk on the golf course, man.
Even more reason why him to come home and click his bookmarks on Survivor spoilers and challenge spoilers and just drunkenly put in a good team.
Well, clearly he was searching out for something because he called Tuttle right before the show and was looking for the inside scoop.
Yeah, he was trying to get stuff.
And we know that Tuttle has it for Survivor. So clearly, he went to a source. Couldn't help him here, but you got to think there's a couple other phone calls being made there. But we will see. We will see. All right. Well, we'll be watching this again tonight. Be sure to join us tomorrow. Again, NFL draft and poker. Be sure to get in this. $500K is the big championship on Sunday. And we're going to be having just a ton. I think like 70 of these tickets that are worth over 500 SC to get into that tournament. So should be a lot of fun watching the draft and playing some poker. Join us for that stream tomorrow. Also, promo code Grinders in a lot of places, including sportscardinvestor.com. You'll see a lot of those videos here on Rotogrinders. Read about them, watch them. Really good stuff there if you want to try something new. We're out of here. We'll be back next week for Chop and Tuttle. I am Dan. Thanks for Devin for producing, and we'll catch you next time. See you.